Okay. Hello everyone. Ramadan Mubarak. I am Ilaf Mohammed, Communication and Advocacy Department Director of the Sudanese Consortium for Surgical Development. I would like to really extend my gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us today for this panel discussion. I will start by introducing the SASD. We in the SASD, our mission is to enhance surgical care through training, research, and advocacy by our different departments. So the Communication and Advocacy Department, this department for this panel, focus on identifying critical surgical care issues, exploring their various aspects, and uncovering the potentials. We have discovered that many Sudanese women doctors and medical students face confusion, uncertainty, and pressure when considering surgical career. So that's why we're here today at this panel discussion at the International Women's Day. Briefly, our panel aims to inspire, empower, and connect Sudanese women interested in surgery by providing a platform to knowledge sharing and mentorship opportunities with experienced female surgeons, and lastly, a community of like-minded individuals for support and networking. So we are honored to have our esteemed panel members, Rimaz, Rahiq, and Isra. So please join me in welcoming them. Rimaz is one of our outstanding fellows at CSD. Can you please introduce yourself, Rimaz?
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I am Rima Saaduddin, a medical officer and a current SCSD fellow. I would like to welcome all our speakers and attendees, and we are so happy to have you here today with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rimaz. Rahiq and Isra is our communication and advocacy department officers. So can you, Rahiq, introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Hila. So welcome everyone today. We're so happy to have you at this beautiful night. Rahiq Musa, a current communication and advocacy department officer, and I'm so happy to have you all here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahiq. Isra?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion. I'm truly honored to be here and to join such amazing lineup of speakers. My name is Isra Hadi, and I am a Communication and Advocacy Department Officer, and inshallah will be part of the host, inshallah, for today.
Inshallah, thank you, Isra, Rahiq, and Rimaz. Throughout this discussion, we will have an exciting and inspiring conversations with our speakers, and we have some surprises in store for you all at the end. So please stay tuned. So as we have a variety of participants joining, and as our speakers will be using in English, your convenience, can you access captions by pressing the CC button below and selecting your preferred language. And please, everyone, try to keep your mic mute so we can go smoothly without interruption. So are you ready to begin? If you're ready, just please react with thumbs up or heart, or drop some emojis in the chat box so you can see. Okay. Let's go. Okay. So we will start by introducing our first speaker. Okay. It is our pleasure to welcome the renowned Professor Suhail Neil, a surgeon and a leading expert in urogynecology and neurology with a distinguished career spanning several decades. Professor Suhail has made a significant contribution of the field, improving the lives of countless women worldwide. So welcome, Professor Suhail. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, despite there's a time zone difference between here and over there in China. So I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for your presence with us today.
Well, thank you very much, Hilaf, and thank you very much for this really lovely invitation, and thank you for inviting me, especially on this sort of special day for all of us. So yes, I am in China. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning here, but it's exciting to be here. So I'm wide awake. So don't worry, I'm good. I'm not going to sleep on the job. But I was asked from the outset to sort of give a brief background, because one of the things I've always felt, Tilaf, and perhaps would you like to ask me questions, or would you like me to have say a little bit from the beginning?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
Feel free.
Okay, so I think it's very interesting, because when I was at medical school, and I trained in Africa, I didn't train in the UK. I did my medical school in Africa, and then I moved to the UK when I started training in some of my surgical specialties. And one of the things that was very interesting was that when I was at medical school, I was in Zimbabwe at the time because my parents were based in Zimbabwe. I actually won the gold medal prize in surgery. And it was a big shock to the boys in the class. And I'm sorry about the boys on the call, because the boys in my class said, well, this is wrong. You should either get pediatrics, or you could get obs and gynae at a push, but you shouldn't really get surgery. But I've always been very sort of surgically driven. And but then my father, who was a well-known doctor, and was very keen that he felt that women needed more women to work in surgical fields. So he was quite keen I did obstetrics and gynecology. And I was happy to do it, but I wanted to really go down the very strong surgical route. And that's why I'm in this field of urogynecology and uroneurology, where you're doing a lot of urology, coloproctology, gynecology, and so on. So you're basically a pelvic surgeon. So kind of carving my way out through the field, I didn't realize that there really were not that many women, because I never thought of it in a women and male issue. But I had some very good mentors, particularly when I started my training in obstetrics and gynecology. And my mentor there was an Irish gentleman called John Williamson, and he was excellent. He was an ally, really, for most of the women, and he believed implicitly that we could do whatever they could do, in fact, better. And he always did say he thought women tended to have much better ability to manage tissue. So it started off with a good ally, who then gave you that feeling that you could do anything. But there was no doubt you had to do much more than everybody else, had to work, not twice as hard, probably 10 times as hard. You had to be present. You couldn't just do your surgery. You had to also be very good at everything else. Academia, you had to be able to, deliver when anybody else couldn't deliver. And so there was an awful lot of pressure, but it was also a challenge. And I think a lot of women are very good with challenges. If you challenge women, predominantly women who want to do surgery, they will rise to that challenge. They won't sort of run away from it. So that was the starting point. So when I then became a consultant in 2004, I realized I had a very important job. I had to open that door to all the girls around me and to support the women who were also present around me. And so what it involved was trying to keep the schedule, make sure the girls could come in and work with us, and but also to develop their skills and know they could achieve everything anyway. And I think that was important. And I think with everything in life, if you see an example ahead of you, then you can think, well, if she can do it, I can do it. I see no reason why I can't do it. So it was really making sure you could be great at the job you do, deliver the best you can. And I chose areas which were very difficult. They were not, I would call your areas that people would get great accolades in. There were the areas which affected women badly, but they were very much unsung. So, if I had probably gone into cancer surgery, which is what one of my other mentors wanted me to do, because he felt I could do it, it would have probably been great, because you tend to have a better stance in things like cancer surgery. But to work in surgery which affected women's lives, and predominantly because I'd also done some of my house officership in Ethiopia, so I'd worked on fistulas and things like that. So it was really working in an arena where you didn't get a lot of accolades, but you knew you could make a lot of difference, and you could make a big difference for women. So basically, it was, so if you said to me, what is the road? The road is having very supportive family who sort of got you through the first stage, good male allyship and sponsorship, mentorship in the middle, and then you become the change you want to see. So you drive that change. So I would say it's a sort of a phasic response, and I'm very, very grateful we managed to do quite a lot. And even on today's call, I shared the link with a lot of former trainees who are now colleagues. They're all consultants themselves. They're all female, and they've all followed a similar road. So it's really just having the right support, being very clear of what you want to achieve. And I suppose that's the whole thing about surgery. It's often the way you think is the way that makes that difference. You won't be a surgeon if you didn't already think like a surgeon from a very early stage. And surgeons tend to be quite focused and driven. So I think I would say that was it, really. Nothing clever, but a lot of hard work and having the right people support you on the journey.
Yeah, well, that's truly inspiring. So my question is, how do you really navigate your career-life balance and overcoming all barriers and challenges?
So it's tough. I won't lie, Ilaf. The work-life balance is probably the toughest, because you want to do everything right at home as you do at work. So you can achieve the work, in a sense, becomes easier because it's much more structured. But as you well know, culturally, a home environment requires you to do things sometimes unexpectedly. Something might happen to a member of a family somewhere far away, and you all have to go to that place. So you just mix and match. And I found as long as I didn't resent it, I was fine. As long as I went with the flow. And actually, I saw it as my downtime. So I thought, well, I have to do this. I'm going to do this. It's going to be fine. And you'd have that sort of break from it. I think it's a state of mind, and it's an adaptation process. And the good thing is, if you've got people around you who recognize your value in your space, both at home and at your work. So in other words, as a woman, having a supportive husband is extremely important. Having supportive parents, very important. Siblings, very important. And actually, they do a lot of the defense for you as well. So if you can't show up at something, they're the ones who say, look, she's really busy, and so I'm coming on her behalf. So it's very, very, it's adaptation. Yeah, it's a basic adaptation, and having that support system, which if you talk to male surgeons, they actually already have in place. There's an expectation, if you're a male surgeon, your wife will support you. It's when you're a female, there isn't that expectation. So all I would say is marrying the right person is a big plus.
Okay, we will make sure to do this. So my question is, looking back again, if you have a choice to do this subspecialty and surgery, would you choose it again?
Absolutely.
Why or why not?
So I'll tell you why. Why? Because I think my dad was absolutely right. Women need more women to operate on them. Their understanding of the women's bodies is just that it is different. There's no doubt about it. And it's an understanding. There's the empathetic component as well, the compassionate component which comes in. It's something that's natural you have directly with another woman. So that's a big plus. There is an understanding. So I've done a lot of my work. I've worked globally in different countries, and it doesn't matter where I go. The minute you walk in, even if you can't speak the language, the mere fact that you have that recognition, woman to woman, it helps everything flow. There's an understanding, and there is an acceptance, and there is trust. So that's a big plus for me. The other thing is that the area of specialty is complex reconstructive surgery. It's not straightforward stuff. A lot of people think in my field that it's all about, prolapse surgery or incontinence surgery. Actually, there's a lot of other stuff you have to do, which involves it's 3 compartments that you have to work in. So there's quite a big scale of work that you have to do. And actually, I think like any field of surgery, it's what you make it. So I would definitely choose it again. I don't think I'd be a great orthopedic surgeon. I know that 100%. And I'm not sure. I mean, I work at the National Hospital for Neurology and Neurosurgery doing some neurological work, but I don't think I would be great at brain tumors, and so it's a question of, what do you like and what suits you, and what do you want what changes do you want to bring, because surgery is about change as well as about treatment.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So my last question, looking back, like what did the key lessons did you learn that you wish you knew earlier in your career, and you would like to give it to the young women aspiring to become surgeons?
I think the most important thing is I spent a lot of time worrying about, am I good enough, for a long time. And I think you do have that imposter syndrome. If you're through the door and you've got support and you've got mentorship, no mentor, no supporter will give you that if they didn't think you were already good enough. So actually trust in the process and trust in the person. So if you've got that support in place, you are well ahead of the game. So don't waste energy on that. You're going to work extremely hard. Accept it. Don't fight it. Don't feel worried about it. Don't feel anxious about it. Just know surgery is an apprenticeship, and like all apprenticeships, the more you do, the better you get. And the third thing, if it doesn't all happen perfectly, don't worry about it. There is always another way. And I always tell all my trainees, there is always your plan A is number 1. You want to do it in this way, in this hospital, at this time, with this person. But if it doesn't work out, there's plan B. And plan B might actually be far better than plan A. But all I would say is always prepare yourself. And I never used to believe in just a plan A and a plan B. I used to have a C and a D. I'd have 4 plans going. I never knew what C and D might be, but it would be an adaptive process if A and B didn't work out. And somehow you would find your way. And actually, if you look at the way I evolved my career, I started off in fistula well before I went into obstetrics and gynecology, but yet it was because of fistula that I came back to reconstructive work because of the need for the women. And there was a question I saw just pop up: where does urogynecology fit in? Is it obs and gynae, or is it a general surgery? And that's a very good question. So if you speak to the Royal College of Surgeons, they would like us to become incorporated into College of Surgery. At the moment, we're in the College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, but actually our amount of work should really be with the surgeons in the College of Surgeons. So I suspect there will come a time when there'll be a fusion of the specialties with the two colleges.
Okay, so you, from your perspective, like what aspects of surgical training schemes and policy require improvement, particularly for women in surgery?
I think women have it very tough because you first of all have to convince whoever's in front of you that you should be allowed through the door. And I think one thing I would say is that there are two issues. There is the issue you can fix on yourself, you can change. The only person that can change in a situation is you, or you can change the system so that the door is more open. So at the moment, for instance, in the United Kingdom, there are more female doctors than there are male doctors currently. So their doors are going to get bigger and more open. So if you said, okay, how is the system going to evolve? It's about educating everybody, making it accessible. That's the most important thing. And then should you choose it and you wish to do it, you should be facilitated and it should fit around the role of a woman. So women will need to have children, will need to have their families. It should accommodate that without it being an issue. You know, I remember when I was training, some of my seniors would say, well, make sure you don't have, don't get pregnant at this phase or don't have children at this phase. There was all this sort of restriction of process. I don't think there should be any restriction. I think you'd adapt the process. And the medical field needs everybody. We are all needed. It doesn't matter in what capacity. So it should be able to accommodate us in training as well. So from a policy perspective, flexibility is key.
Okay, that's really wonderful, Professor Suhair. And I'm afraid that our time is over, so
Okay.
we need to switch. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your presence with us today.
Not at all. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So we will move on our panel discussion, and before we move to our next speaker, Ima's gonna present us as interested in statistic in this topic. So over you, Imaz.
Thank you, Elaf and Prof. Suhair. Such an inspirational talk. So, according to statistics from the NHS, the proportions of female consultants and trainees are increasing steadily. In 1991, only 3% of surgical consultants were women compared to 2024, when it was nearly 17%. Okay. Okay, so here we have the percentage of consultants who are female according to specialty based on 2024 data from NHS Digital. As we can see here, pediatric surgery and plastic surgery to be the specialties with highest percentage, neurosurgery, trauma and orthopedic surgery to be the specialties with the lower percentage. So yeah. Without further delay, let me hand the mic to Dr. Rahiq to present our next speaker.
Thank you so much, Rima. That was a great trivia. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Reem Ali, a distinguished plastic and reconstructive surgeon with extensive expertise, aesthetic and reconstructive procedures. She's a member of Royal College of Surgeons in Edinburgh and hold multiple specialized degrees in aesthetic medicine and body contouring. Dr. Reem, we are so honored to have you with us today, and let's begin with you. Okay.
Recording in progress. Actually, I'm having some issues with the camera and the mic. Mhm.
Okay, so Dr.
Can
Reem,
you hear me now? Can you
we
hear
can
me?
start with the first question, if you don't mind.
Mhm. Am I on? Yes.
Yes, yes, you are audible, Dr. Reem.
Rubah saat. Eh,
I think there is some problems with the network with Dr. Reem.
um, Hello. Yes.
Welcome.
Sorry to keep you waiting. And I'm really pleasured and honored to have the opportunity to be a speaker with the panel today. I'm really glad to meet you all, and I'm thrilled really also to meet all the speakers. I'm happy to have this opportunity. So speaking about my career in surgery, and if I chose surgery as a path, uh, really what I want to mention that I don't have the typical story of that. I've really wanted surgery as a career since I was a medical college student. I wasn't really interested in surgery when I was in medical college. I was really interested to do pediatrics, and then my father is a general surgeon, and he was really trying to push me to go into surgery, but I was not that person at all. I told him, no, 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 this is not my specialty. I remember his really ringing all the time. At that time they were having pagers, and his pager was ringing all the time, calls and emergencies. I said, this is not my life, I don't want that. And soon after I joined the internship, I picked the pediatric as a first ship, and it was really completely what made me decide to close the door for pediatrics as a specialty. I really didn't like it, and I felt it's not really my personality who can fit there, because I it was difficult for me to counteract with children really and parents, and you're not handling a single person, you're handling like that whole family together. So I didn't find myself there, and I remained like foggy for the rest of the internship until it was finished. By the end of the internship, I decided to take a break and check in with the exams that were trending that time. Should I take the lab? Should I take the Canadian exam? Should I take what exam should I take? And I got married and life moved. When I was picked for working in Saudi Arabia, I was really picked so that I would work. And I took the exam of dermatology, really. I can recall that I took dermatology, and my father was really upset of that. He was telling me, no, no, one day you will be a surgeon. He was praying for that. I think my father's prayers got responded to, because when I was picked to work for in Saudi Arabia, some paperwork were mixed up, and I suddenly found myself at the surgery department because there were a deficiency in females at that time in that unit. After 1 year of working there, one of the Saudi residents, I remember she was really advanced in her pregnancy, and she was already R3. And she was telling me, Reem, why don't you join the board? Why don't you do surgery? I told her, no, surgery is not for me. It's very tough. It's very difficult. It's not a female thing. And she was looking at me like that, and she said, but Reem, you're already doing it. It's 1 year. You're already practicing surgery now. And it's like she opened my eyes.
Okay.
I was really already doing surgery. I was a resident in the surgical unit. I was doing assisting in surgeries. I was seeing emergencies. I already bought the books and I was studying surgery. So my career was really divided, and my God responded to my father prayers. And that was the time when I really decided to take the MRCS exam and move forward really in surgery, because I really found myself already there working with my hands. And I liked the feeling of appreciation from the community and the society when a female patient reached you and say the prayers, سترتي علي الله يستر عليك. You know, as a female, you don't like to be exposed to a male person.
Yeah.
So that was the part was really that touched me, and I moved forward in the career of surgery. When I was doing it's recommended that you have to do the ACLS, the basic life support, and trauma life support. I was in the plane with one Iraqi surgeon. She was she was really a good female, and she didn't stop working. Also, although she's over 70, she was really still very strong, hard, professionally working. And I was telling her, why didn't you think of retiring? She told me, and that was really a note that I took from her. She told me every stage of life have something that you have to add to yourself in life. So she told me when I started as a general surgeon. And then from general surgery, she moved into reconstructive surgery. From reconstruction, she moved into microsurgery. And she was an oncologic surgeon. Um, she told me, try to pick something and master it. Master that tiny part. Don't diffuse yourself all the way apart and everything. You can be the jack of all trades. So, and that was the path that I chose during my rotation. Focus on one surgery and try to master it. That really, that's the summary of how I joined the surgery and how did I like it. And I love the journey
That
more
was
than
so meaningful, Dr. Reem. So let me ask you another question. Dr. Reem, as a Sudanese female surgeon in a highly specialized field, what are the biggest challenge you face and how did you navigate them and what keep you motivated through the toughest moment in your career?
Yeah, that's a good question. The biggest challenge that I faced during my residency training in Sudan is that we had really supportive mentors, but the public and the community shared belief that surgery is a pure male thing and it is a pure male profession, and there is a reduced trust towards you as a female surgeon. But you know, we finally you can overcome that really very easily. You can break the ice once you start and establish good communication with your patient, effective communication, speaking to the patient about his journey of surgery, what are his options, what happens next, what is going, how is he going to follow up, what is he going to do. Take him through all the small details and really be generous in your explanation. That will really break the ice toward you as a female surgeon, that he's questioning your compatibility and your competency in what you're doing. So you will be faced by that. I was faced really by some patients when I was at the general surgery part of my training, when they asked me, oh, who's going to do the appendix? I told them, I am the surgeon. I remember they're picking their bags and leaving the hospital. That was really a horrible feeling for me, because they just didn't want a young female surgeon to do the surgery. But you will be faced by things like that. It shouldn't just make you lose faith in yourself.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Reem. So, Dr. Reem, having gained extensive experience in your field, what is some key lessons you've learned along the way and things you wish you known earlier in your journey? And if you had if you had the chance to go back and choose again, would you still pursue surgery? Why and why not?
Okay, okay. Um, I will talk about my satisfaction. I'm really satisfied with my journey in surgery, in plastic surgery, in special, because I felt that I can give more. At the era when I was doing my training, it was the revolution time. It was the downcoming of the president, and then finally came the war. It was really full of trauma. That era was really full of trauma, and that was the main part that gave us like a huge bulk of patients, huge bulk of trauma patients. Yeah, so we had like a generous exposure of like reconstruction and everything. Although nobody loves to see people traumatized and in a miserable way, but when you feel that you are a part of the team that are giving and providing help and providing support, you really feel your worth, your self-worth. I was happy that I was able to provide at that era of time. And I wished really if I wasn't having a family, because I fled the country, I wished if I was still at Sudan to give and provide during these hard times. But sometimes you have to balance. This is the thing that I really wanted someone to guide me through my rotation. But you will learn it by uh, learning by giving experience, by taking experience and making mistake, keep taking experience and making mistake. Nothing is going to be perfect all through your career. So nothing is full perfect. The wheel of life, you have a family, you have friends, you have your religion part, and you have your career, you have your financial part. These parts, you cannot fulfill them 100%, all of them, all the time. There are some times that you will lose control in your family. There are sometimes you will lose control in your finance. Some parts you will find that your career is taking a lot. So you have to balance each time, each and every time. Try to balance one of these over the other. It will not be perfect all the time with all of them. So definitely there will be when one part is taking over, the other will be reduced. So and accept that. Just accept
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So yeah, that was meaningful and insightful, Dr. Reem. So as we know, the war has profound effects on every aspect of life, including the medical field. And how has it impacted your career and personal journey? And what challenge have you emerged as post-war? And how have you been navigating them?
Yeah. Did it affect? Definitely, it affected everything, everything. My big family, my small family, my career, my expectations with my career development, because it was really a challenging time. We was just new graduates. Although I'm a late flourisher person, I didn't graduate from college and seek immediately my specialty. I had a time lapse in that, so I consider myself a late flourish person. But that really, it affected me in mainly my career development. So, and I told you I had to reestablish my career elsewhere and move outside the country. And then our specialty, the more you will find really huge competition outside, because of the experiences and the certificates, and everybody is trying to gain like everything and everything, all and everything. But it's one step at a time. I just embrace that reality that this is a hard, difficult time for me and for my country. So I will take one step at a time. If God put me in a place where there is this cosmetic aesthetic surgery, then okay, I will embrace this journey. I will go through it. I will take experience, and then surely this time will finish when I feel that I'm much saturated, and I will move on for a uh, next thing to pick up.
Okay,
Um,
Dr. Reem, you made us so curious to know your vision of the future of your vision of the future of Sudanese women in surgery. So we want to know we want you to know that many young Sudanese women dream of becoming surgeons, but may feel discouraged by challenge ahead. What advice would you give them, and what mindset and skill do you think are crucial for success in this field, Dr. Adil?
Yeah, that's a nice question because it was mentioned that might feel the imposter feeling definitely through your journey one day. But if I did it, I believe every other doctor female she can do it. All the medical field have challenges. The challenge is there in all the medical field. So there is a challenge physically, mentally, there is a time consumption, there is the considerable effort that you will face in every other specialty in medicine. So if you are already in medicine, you can do surgery. You can do surgery. The challenge is there in all the medical specialties. So just if you find that this is inspiring to you, then go for it. Go for it. I really look forward to see more Sudanese female surgeons represented in the universal committees. So I'm really now seeking to join a fellowship in any of this international social committees of plastic surgery so that I can recommend my colleagues and my other graduates. So when I opened the website of the International Society of Plastic Surgeons, International Society of Regenerative Surgeons, so I can see more than one female Sudanese surgeons. I'm really looking for that day, and it will come soon, definitely, I'm sure.
Yeah, Dr. Reem, that was such an enlightening perspective. So, Dr. Reem, before diving to our next speaker, we want to know from your experience what area in Sudan's surgical training system need the most improvement and better support for aspiring surgeons, and how would you hope to leave your mark and contribute to advancing female surgeons in Sudan? How would you want to leave the mark? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I will talk about my perspective from my side of view, my side of vision. We need more burn centers to be opened in Sudan. Even this after war, I'm sure there are hundreds of patients who are suffering burn injuries and burn like scars, and so they will need lots of surgeries. So I wish there was only one burn center before the war. There was only one burn center in Bahri Hospital in Sudan. So I wish if really we can extend that and open extra units all over the big cities in Sudan. Now we are already, most of us as plastic surgeons are scattered outside the Khartoum area. So I wish really if they can establish like other centers for burn to provide care for the definite, there is a bulk of patients in that area. And I wish really if that happened, I can provide and put my spots back there. I can job back to my country because I'm not inspired really by the aesthetic part. I'm really inspired by the reconstruction and giving hope and life to people who are really in need of it.
Dr. Arif, thank you so much for sharing your journey, insights, and wisdom with us today. Your dedication to excellence and your passion for transforming lives through plastic and reconstructive surgery was truly inspiring. We appreciate your time, Dr. Arif, and valuable lesson you have shared. Also, now, before diving to our next speaker, we will take a short break for the trivia session led by Ramaz before moving on the next speaker. Okay, so Rimaz, the mic is over you.
Okay, thanks, Rahiq and Miss Reem. Really inspirational story. So let us take a few minutes and look at this study. It was published in 2023, titled as The Difference in Cholecystectomy Outcomes and Operating Time Between Male and Female Surgeons in Sweden. So basically, it was a population-based cohort study involving 150,509 patients who were operated on by 2,553 surgeons in Sweden. So according to this study, female surgeons had significantly fewer surgical complications than male surgeons in elective and acute care cholecystectomies, including fewer bile duct injuries in elective operations. Okay. So in relation to operating time, female surgeons operated more slowly. They converted to open surgery less frequently in the acute care settings, and their patients had shorter hospital stay. So these findings suggest that female and male surgeons differ in terms of surgical outcomes in elective and acute care cholecystectomies. Okay, so now I will handle the mic to Dr. Isra to present our next surgeons.
Thank you very much, Ramaz, for another yet insightful piece of trivia. And join me as we welcome our next speaker, Dr. Shaymal Arabi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem. We are very happy and honored to have you here. And we're excited to learn about your journey as a pediatric surgeon and what led you to choose this specialty. So over to you.
Thank you. I'm really delighted to be part of this event. My name is Shaina. I started by general surgery, then I did a subspecialty in pediatric surgery. So the reason that made me choose surgery in the beginning, that I'm a person who likes to use the hand. Since I was a child, I used to draw and I knit, I do crocheting. That initially took me to the field of surgery. So it hands on nature was an immediate attraction to me to be early. And for choosing pediatric surgery, I really like it. I like neonates. I like how we transform children's life, whether we're correcting a birth defect or saving them after injury, and how we change those little lives and give them a better chance to live healthier. This is made me choose this path as a pediatric surgeon. It was not easy. It required me years and years of hard work and dedication, and long night shifts and other stuff and training. However, seeing a child recover, it just makes me know that I picked the right path.
That's truly wonderful and also very human. And this is really interesting. And you mentioned that it wasn't easy. So as a pediatric surgeon, what kind of unique challenges have you faced and how have you navigated them?
So, as mentioned by the previous speakers, the only thing in surgery that is different for me, it's a traditionally male-dominated field. So as a woman of surgery, you have to constantly prove that I belong to operating room, I belong to surgery, especially from the community. My peers, even male peers and our mentors, our senior consultants were really supportive. I really didn't face any discrimination in this aspect. However, from the community, I'm currently spaced out of Khartoum, living in a nearby city. So, for example, last week we were sitting. I'm the specialist. I'm a female, and the rest of my registrars were female. So a guy came in, he opened the door and he looked at us and he said, "Oh my God, كلهم حروم." I was like, okay, we're حروم, but we can do it. We can heal children, we can help you, we can offer you the best care we can. However, and I have another story when I took the exam and I was very excited to start my training. So my mom is a doctor and I met her friend. I was like, I'm going to be a surgeon. And she said to me, do you think people will trust you to operate on them? I would never trust you. thank God my mom is supportive, and she said, if my daughter wants to be a surgeon, she will be, and she will be a good one. So how I went through this challenges, good mentors, good peers, good friends, and really hard work, and the support from my family and my colleagues and everyone whom I met during my journey to be a pediatric surgeon.
Amazing. That's truly, I'm sure a lot of our audiences who are aspiring to be pediatric surgeons or surgeons in general are very inspired by what you mentioned, especially that you have navigated these kind of things with grace. And I wanted to ask you another question, which is looking back, what kind of lessons did you learn that you wish you learned earlier in your career? And looking back on that also, what advice would you give to future aspiring female surgeons?
So the things that I would love to know before starting my training, that I exhausted myself. I kept working really hard. I thought I should learn everything during my training years. I kept working long hours. I never go home. I thought I have to learn every operation, everything, and be good at everything, and should be able to manage any patient. And I was just a trainee. I wish I got an advice from someone telling me that I don't need to do all this right now. Okay, surgery is a curve. There is a learning curve, and there are no shortcuts. You have to go through the whole process to reach the point where you can make the decisions and operate on patients. It's like steps, like baby steps with pediatric surgeons. These are baby steps. You have to take one small step at a time. It's a cumulative experience. You cannot just attain the whole thing within the 5 or 4 years of your training. So now I always tell my juniors that you just have to take your time to learn stuff and to do stuff. You cannot do it all, and it's all right to not be able to do things or know things. And you should always ask for help. Okay, you are not supposed to know everything during your training. You just need to know the basics. You need to be as a pediatric surgeon or a surgeon, and you should never be afraid or ashamed to ask for help. You are learning, and the learning is a lifelong process. It does not end by our training years, nor any minute. It starts from you starting your training till the day you put your scalpel down. Okay, and the other thing that I really think very crucial is mentorship. You need to have a mentor. Thank God I still have them. Great mentors in both general and pediatric surgery. It's not just for learning or for teaching me how to operate. It was for the emotional support. Even when you mess up and you have a mentor, you will be better next time. Okay, the support is very crucial. Okay, and I learned that experience comes with time. You cannot just wake up and be expert in something. Okay, you have to operate over and over. You have to pick it like small bubble pieces, putting them together to see the bigger picture. So my advice to younger female surgeons or students is to believe in yourself. You can achieve it. Okay, if someone can do it, then you can do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. If no one can do it, you can do it. So believe in yourself, okay? And do not put a lot of pressure on yourself to be perfect. No one is perfect. Even after years of training, you still need the opinions of others. So you have to believe in yourself. The other thing that is surgery is demanding. It is really demanding, okay? It's going to take a lot of your time and your effort. But if it is your passion, it is totally worth it. It is totally worth it. It is totally worth it. You will be satisfied when you operate and when you see your patients getting better. Okay? And I cannot stress enough to have a mentor. Sometimes these mentors are just your peers or your senior consultants, and you should never be afraid to ask for help. And you females belong to surgery as much as anyone else. Okay? No one can tell you that there is no specialty, gender for each specialty. I hate it when I see posts on Facebook telling, oh, we need a specialty for females. There are no specialties for females. It's just what you want and what's your passion, and you can do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. Okay.
That's really wonderful. I love the motto. If anyone can do it, you can do it. And this is really wonderful. And we heard a lot of speakers mention that as well. And I feel like this is very energetic slogan. So comes another question, which is, as a surgeon, as you mentioned, it's demanding, yet at the same time it's satisfying. But how do you balance your personal life and career, especially as a female or as a woman? How have you managed this, and what advice would you give
Okay.
to?
Okay, it's about the support. If you have a good supporting system at home, you have a supportive husband, you have a supportive mother, you have supportive father, and really good time management and such things. Okay, I'm single, I don't have kids, so I don't know what the moms do, but I think you need support from both your home, people at home, and from hospital and the health system. Okay, they should support you. So if you have young kids, if you're pregnant, if you have all these female things, they should, like, I don't know, make some legislations to make females fit and make females comfortable, and don't use their like biological things against them. Like, don't get pregnant. Your kids are too young. We don't care if you have young kids. You have to cover your duties. They should make legislations to make females comfortable and to have equal chances in training. I have seen females working with us, married females, moms, and they were like really suffering because they have the same workload as we do. I don't know I don't know what are the legislations should be, but I think
We got disconnected, I think.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So it's just the support from the family and from the health system and from the training bodies for females to accommodate all the physiological needs of being a mom, being wives, and being surgeons. And this should never hold them back.
Thank you for sharing that outlook, and I hope that this soon becomes a reality soon enough, inshallah. One last question, and this is really something we all want to know, especially hearing from you and your inspiring journey. From your point of view, what are the aspects that needs to be improved in the surgical training in Sudan?
Okay, I think that needs improvement, that we need a clear curriculum for what we're supposed to do at each phase. As I told you earlier, that I didn't really what to do in my first year of training, second year of training. You have to go around and ask. I think we should have a clear curriculum telling us what to do in every shift, what are our learning objectives, what is expected from us at this level of training and such things. And we need educational supervisors for every training. Okay, so I need to know where to go ask if I have a difficulty, if I have a problem. I need to know where to go. During my training time, I didn't know what to do. I really just don't know what to do. If I had a problem, if whatever, if I thought I just need more training in this area or that area, and especially the area of research, okay? And we need more clear, more like, I don't know the word, like a system for assessment, okay?
Like a structure.
Yeah, structured. This is the word, structured. Structured system for assessment.
You're welcome.
We go through our training. You just start, take an exam, and then you go for 2 years. You just don't know what is required from you. You cannot achieve anything if you don't have an objective. Okay, if my objectives are to do so and so and so, then I would know where am I standing. Where are the areas of weaknesses, my deficiencies, where do I need improvement? And this should be supervised by educational supervisor for each trainee. Okay, I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was really insightful, and I'm sure that there are so many key takeaways. I'm sure our audiences have really gained a lot of insights from your talk, and I really sincerely thank you for sharing this journey and also sharing advice on how to navigate a career in surgery. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And over to you
Yeah.
again, Rimaz, with another insightful trivia.
Okay, thanks, Isra and Shema. Okay, so here we have another study that is titled as Surgeon Sex and Long-Term Postoperative Outcomes Among Patients Undergoing Common Surgeries. Basically, it was a retrospective cohort study that was conducted in Canada. In this study, around 1 million adult patients were involved. And the long-term postoperative outcomes and adverse outcomes were assessed at 90 days and 1 year following the surgery. So the findings of this study mentioned that patients who were treated by female surgeons have less number of worse or adverse outcomes in comparison to patients who were treated by male surgeons. Okay, so moving on to our next speaker to be presented by Dr. Rahiq. Thanks.
Thank you once again, Rimas, for that fun trivia session. Now let's move on our next speaker, and I'm so happy to introduce Dr. Abir Barakat. She is a general surgeon, a medical educator, and advocate for women in surgery with over 11 young doctors while actively advocating for women's health awareness. Dr. Abir, we are so honored to have you with us. Let's start with what inspired you to choose the surgery career and how did your journey begin?
Miss Abir, your mic is closed. We can't hear you.
Now you can listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Kareem, everyone. I'm really happy.
Salam wa rahmat.
I'm really happy to talk today on behalf of General Surgery of Sudan. And, thanks again to having me. Regarding the first question, I think surgery is a very charming and inspiring field, and this is a new crystal fact for all surgeons. But for me, the desire of making positive impact on people's life and the opportunity to combine science and art of repairing and healing human body is a powerful motivator for me. Additionally, the challenge of complexity of the surgical procedure is appealing as a very enjoying problem solving and critical thinking. And for sure, the feeling of satisfaction that come from improving patient health and well-being is a profound inspiration. How my journey began, surprisingly, like Ms. Reem, my specialty or I choose another specialty when I was a medical student with pediatric, but when I did my internship, I totally changed my mind. And I was not at that time a big fan of surgical specialty. I think like this is just for men. It's not fitting for women. But I fell in love with surgery when I was a medical officer. I was working with a very distinguished surgeon in my hometown, rural hospital, Wawisi. He taught me the principle of surgical technique and procedure, and I got the heartwarming feedback from my homies, then love evolved to some things divine.
Rahel, again, your mic muted.
I think
So
she's
sorry.
lagging.
Yeah. So Ms. Abir, thank you for that insightful perspective. So what were the biggest challenge you faced as a Sudanese female surgeon, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, female surgeons face a lot of challenge throughout our training program. It's mainly bias from stereotype from patient, as Ms. Shaima said, and also from our college and from administrator, some of them for sure. Then the demanding of nature of surgical work can make a challenge for female surgeons to balance their personal life and their professional life. Also, female have limited access for mentorship, network opportunities, and support system. And additionally, there is physical and emotionally demanding in surgery that take a lot of female surgeon health and well-being.
Thank you, Dr. Abir. So, Dr. Abir, looking back, what are the key lessons did you learn that you wish you knew earlier in your career? And what advice would you give to young Sudanese women aspiring to become a
Looking back, if the time return back, I will spend a lot of time or more time to learn surgical procedure in a better way, and to combine science and more articles and update myself in surgery, and build more skills, especially in laparoscopic surgery, because I facing problem right now in this field, because I think my training was deficient in this particular matter. So if the time return back, I think I would focus on this field. Regarding female surgeon, I think the female now has a role model as a brilliant, successful Sudanese female surgeon in all branches, as we saw in this event, plastic surgery, urology, pediatric surgery, general surgery, neurosurgery. And also training and leadership and mentorship and funding opportunity, it's more accessible right now than before. So cheer up for females that the pathway now is more clear and the future is more brighter. And my advice, all females, if you love surgery, don't hesitate and pursue your passion.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abir. So, how was the war, Dr. Abir, impact your life? And what challenge have you faced after the war? And how are you navigating them?
Actually, the war is a very trouble human disaster and affect all Sudanese life in different way. For me, like many in my fields and many surgeons, even many doctors, I had a stable life, well-planned career, along with a good social life before the war. But when the war came,
Tell these niggas to calm down. Tell these.
it hit us like a powerful earthquake, shaking everything in our life. But I think the good things or the positive things of the positive side of this time, that I decided to start again from zero, actually from zero. And now I feel like I have been reborn again, but in a strong way.
That was so meaningful, Dr. Abir. So let me ask you, what are you satisfied, Dr. Abir, with your career path? And if you had the chance to choose again, would you still pursue surgery? Why and why not?
For sure, I'm satisfied, for sure. And I'm really, really happy that I changed my mind from pediatric to surgery, because I find my soul in surgery. And yes, of course, I will choose surgery again.
Mm. Thank you, Dr. Abir. So let me ask you a last question. How do you hope, Dr. Abir, to leave your mark and contribute in advancing female surgeon in Sudan? And what's your vision, Dr. Abir, for the future of Sudanese women in surgery?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the future for younger female surgeon is much brighter, and the path now is more clear. We can actually make a lot of things for female surgeon in Sudan. And actually now we are working in the consortium, Sudanese Surgical Consortium of Surgical Development, to improve the training of Sudanese female as well as male, for sure. But we are focusing now as a female surgeon in the female field. I think this is one of the effective things to prove that. And I think we were running a lot of courses in the next upcoming month. Even my colleague Ms. Reem said, I think she want to improve some things about burn, and I promise her that we are working in this field. Maybe we will have some courses in this field in next after stabilization the situation in Sudan, inshallah. Also, I'm a college staff member, and this is, I think, a good chance for me to be mentoring my medical student and lead them and motivate women career in surgery in Sudan.
Dr. Abir, we truly appreciate your sharing your journey, experience, and wisdom with us this night. Your dedication, Dr. Abir, to surgery and mentorship is so inspiring, and I'm sure many here have gained valuable insights from your words. Thank you for your time and for being with us this night. So let me now hand over the mic to Rimaz to another round of trivia. Rimaz, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Rahiq. Thanks, Ms. Abir. So in their article, Women in Surgery, the bulletin of the Royal College of Surgeons of England, they mentioned that despite attracting a greater number of women, surgery remains the training pathway with the largest gender imbalance in England, with women only constituting 33% of surgical trainees and 27% of the surgical workforce as a whole. Okay, so within the same article, the potential barriers that prevent females from pursuing surgery as a profession, where surgery being an inflexible career, with over half of female surgeons in one survey highlighted parenthood as a barrier to a career in surgery, compared with only 5% of male surgeons. In addition to that, gender discrimination was widely reported, and over half of female trainees reported experiencing discrimination within the operating theater, and when in theater, they felt they receive less autonomy than male colleagues. Also, it mentions that pay gap within the NHS was one of the reasons, with the most recent figures showing that on average, male doctors earn 17% more than their female colleagues. Also, as mentioned by our previous speakers, lack of female role models was one of the important reasons. And sadly, sexual harassment in surgery, with a study by the Royal Australian College of Surgeons revealing that over 1/4 of female trainees felt they had been a victim of sexual harassment while working. So now Mike is to Elaf.
Thank you, Rimas. Thank you, everyone, for the insightful discussion. I really appreciate all of your speech. So our next speaker is Professor Ahmed Shadol, the General Secretary of Sudanese Medical Specialization Board. Surprisingly, so not a female surgeon this time. So Professor Shadol, can you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Okay.
joining us and for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Thank you very much for your. Yeah, please go ahead.
You're welcome. So I guess your presentation that you're sharing now, so you can start immediately.
Thank you very much, and for inviting me for this very interesting and important issue. Actually, not only in Sudan but all over. And let me at the beginning يعني أهنئ كل النساء باليوم العالمي للمرأة يعني. و I do acknowledge والله the remarkable achievement of women in every sphere of life. I'm very sorry that I'm not sharing my video because we are in a total blackout, unfortunately. However, also, although I shared my presentation with you, but I inspired by those who spoke, the 5 speakers, I mean, remarkable speeches. So I would rather prefer to talk, also give a short talk rather than going through the presentation, if you don't mind. Yeah. However,
Yeah,
the presentation is with you, can share it, of course, so with all, yeah. So in Sudan, the medical community actually stands as a testament to the strength, to the resilience, and the excellence of our women professionals. Yet, while our female colleagues have made their mark in many medical specialties, occupying more than 70%, by the way, in Sudan Medical Specialization Board, more than 70% of the 10,000 residents in Sudan Medical Specialization Board now are female. However, only 29% have ventured into the demanding and noble field of surgery. But to tell you the truth, I mean, what I have observed during the last few years, I just went through our records. There is a growing trend comparing the last 5 batches, and not 5, 10 batches actually, from batch 41 to batch 51, which was the last batch enrolled. There is a growing trend from 10% in batch 41 to 42 in batch 51, which is it's really good. Yeah. However, in general, it's in surgery, it's only 29%. This disparity definitely is not a reflection of capability, but rather an urgent call to address the barriers that persist in our institution and in our society. And good enough, Prof. Suhair, Ms. Reem, and other speakers, they have reflected a lot, so much on so many barriers that are in front of or facing females actually in this specialty and in the society as a whole. Because women in surgery face unique challenges. Longest, of course, number one is the longest standing stereotype that question their aptitude for what has traditionally been seen as a male dominated arena. Also, the scarcity of visible role models and mentors, and the institutional structures that sometimes were not able to accommodate the needs of the professionalism and the personal responsibilities. And this area has been well dwelled by uh, Prof. Suhair and Rima as well. So we have to ask ourselves, what is holding back a field that could benefit so profoundly from the insight, precision, and compassion that our women bring to medicine? The answers will be or will lie in our collective willingness to dismantle outdated biases and to reform training environment and to build support networks that empower every aspiring surgeon regardless of gender. Therefore, we have to commit to four main areas as my previous colleagues dwelled on. Number one being the mentorship and role models. So we have to establish a robust mentorship programs that connect young female doctors with experienced female surgeons like Professor Suhair and others, who will be able to provide guidance, inspiration, and practical strategies to navigate both the challenge of rigorous surgical training and the realities of work-life balance. Number two, being the institutional reforms. We should be able to advocate for policies that promote flexible training schedules, parental leave, and family-friendly work environments. And I think all of the lady speakers before me have touched this area. So we need to restructure our surgical training programs and to create a space for talent to flourish. The third being the cultural shift, and we need to change the narrative that limit our perception of who can excel in surgery. So uh, it's imperative that we celebrate the success of our female surgeons and create platforms where their voices are heard and their achievements are clearly recognized and acknowledged. The fourth point being the community support, and in this area, we need to engage both men and women in this journey. And we have to look for allies in the field and allies who have or will have a critical role in fostering and environment where inclusivity is not just encouraged by ingrained in the very fabric of our health care systems. So I believe that our mission is very clear. We have to ensure that every capable, passionate, and dedicated woman has an equal opportunity to make a difference in the operating rooms. When we empower women in surgery, we enhance the quality of care for all our patients. We break down antiquated barriers and we pave the way for a more equitable future in healthcare. And I believe this was a very important event. So and let us consider it as a turning point. Let it be the day when we as a community commit to nurturing the next generation of female surgeons who will redefine the boundaries of what is possible. So together, we can transform surgery into a field that truly reflects the diversity, talent, and innovation of our society. And I believe we will be able to do that if we unite and we put it as a vision in front of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Shadul. This was really insightful talk, and we all agree with you. And we are making this to considering all potential solutions you mentioned. So thank you so much for your presentation, and we also have Professor Osman Hamour, Surgical Council Director of the Sudanese Medical Specialization Board. Can you share with us your insightful, Prof. Osman?
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Insights?
Okay. I must start with the same way others started. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your
Okay.
best.
We have to congratulate you for a very successful motive to share with others our experience. Where to start? That is a very important point, and I'm telling you about a decade in surgery. And I came back to complete the decade as something more than that, if possible. It may not be. But let me tell you a few things. I'm getting an echo. There is an echo. I have to sort it from here. Okay. I did not find it. All right. Let me say a few things about females and surgery. I'm not going to follow those 5 decades and be what is called رجع يعني وما لا تؤمن بأن المرأة تليد لكن I'm just trying to lead a whole discussion. I have worked in Saudi Arabia, as I said, for 4 decades, 4 full decades. And I was, the 18 years of those decades were involved in selecting and directing doctors, surgical residents, and surgical registrars. And invariably, every time we hold an interview to select people or doctors, young doctors who work in the hospital, the head of department objects to recruiting females. And the reason was very thin. And he was saying, people, our community or our traditions or whatever, the patients will not come to visit us and they're going to leave to go for another hospital. Right, we accepted his argument for a year, but the next year after he came, all the 7 residents we take yearly for the training were females. How did that happen, or why did it happen? It happened because, for females to leave the hospital during the day in Saudi Arabia that's not the practice. But they have the boys took this chance, and they say the hospital is covered, tracks is very well covered, so let us go. The absentees percentage among doctors was very high. So I came to him and he said, listen, where are our residents? Call any one of them. It was 12 midday. No one was there. So the year after that, he completely transformed. All the registrars selected were females. Yeah. When we go upstairs to the registrars, to the residence training positions, we found that the results of exams because they do the same exams, there was no comparison at all. And the females were taking the lead in all the types of exams, whether it's clinical, whether it's an OSCE, whether it is, and they were more contributive to daily practice in the hospital efficiently. And by the way, 50% of those females were Sudanese registrars. Yeah. Another thing in this selection issue, I'm really getting annoyed with this echo.
What echo?
Let me do that.
عندك echo في السماعة؟
Hmm?
في echo في السماعة؟
راح.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. The second thing is I'm going to tell you about the brightness of the time we trained. I'm not going to say it was jeopardized training positions. I am not going to say anything except that you had the chance. And I always say to my friends that we are the generation who has really destroyed the traditions of proper teaching. If you say this to Professor Siddiq Ahmed Ismail, for example, and tell him that the training is not good, we are not happy with the training. Siddiq is, rahmatullah alayh, he died, but he was a very strong believer that the best training our registrars are getting is in the Sudan. And he persisted in that for a long time, and he was right to a great extent. He did not do any research, he did not do anything, like he was getting reports from the royal colleges. He was the coordinator of the training at one stage, and he was getting reports from the royal colleges of SAGs, كلهم, all of them, الأربعة. He was very fond of bringing this paper, hang it up, and say, see what we are doing with our residents. This thing was accepted to a great extent. Yet, when it comes to the problems of practice, we survived a military coup, a military regime, holding the country for 16 years, and this was Nimeri's time. They believe when you get your registrars not to leave the country, they'll get better training. So he canceled all the scholarships. We used to get, you're very spoiled, to be honest with you. We used to get scholarships free from the secondary school to the university to the postgraduate, all free of charge. You just come in, eat, sleep, work, and go back. You want to, if you want to work. So this was we had a golden chance. I have to say we have utilized it quite well. Now, when we want to apply this to here or to Sudan or to Saudi Arabia or to any one of the diaspora countries, I was so impressed by what has been presented here this morning. And we have seen trainees from China, from different parts of the world. And that is the integration which people like to see happening in most of these areas with the mosaic of training. Percentages and who's getting higher percentage or not, I think this depends a lot. Not definitely will say, if I say not, it's not gender, everybody will agree with me, and that is, yeah, I should say it is true to some extent. Right. I joined this meeting in the capacity of director of the Surgical Council, General Surgery Council. And I was expecting Dr. Shadul to give us a bit of a statistics about the number of trainees, because what I got, what I got here was that the council started in 1995, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then this number has actually increased quite dramatically. It has increased quite dramatically. And from this whole lot of trainees, we get 76% females. And I did see that one day when we used to come here and give some laparoscopy courses for local surgeons here.
When do we usually get started around here?
What's happening?
You can continue.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
76% of 76% of the residents are female. 76% of the residents are female. That's where you stopped.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody's helping me here. Sorry. Right. I found that the percentage of females is quite significantly higher than what's happening on the male side. Right. When we get back to why this happening or why it's not happening, because for the very simple reason that our practice in the past was zero training. And when I came here back to Sudan after a very long stay outside it and joined one of the hospitals here, I was really shocked by the not type of training, I was shocked by the fact that doctors has to work day and night, not because they want to score higher results or because they want to live. And I had my first meeting with the residents when I came, and that was, and I was really surprised that how did this happen? How could it be repaired? Why? I had about 5 registrars working in trainee residents working in the hospital, and then they start their day at 8 in the hospital I'm working in, and then they come back to join at 2:30 to work the whole day. And what they have called, they told me it is called Bangala. You have to live. You have to live, and you have to work very hard so that you can be selected to go to the outside countries in this Gulf states, so that you can make a better living. I did that. I stayed in the Gulf for a very long time, but it was by more or less own will, rather than being forced to go. This is, I don't know how people are going to look at it, but we have to say that if people want to improve the training, it has to be, they have to be trained, you have to be trained better, and people have to find what is the cause of this deterioration in the training part. Okay. I think that's all what I wanted to say. And thank you very much again for the invitation. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Matt. It's really shocking numbers that you mentioned, and given the perspective of how training is transformed from the last years till now. So my question is, how could we improve this, like the training system, and especially for females? What's the policy the board should adapt to make life easy?
Can you repeat your question, please?
I mean, what kind of policy the board, Sudanese Medical Specialization Board, should adapt to make the training system more family friendly, as Prof. Shadon mentioned, and so that the female surgeon specifically can balance their life with their career.
I have a problem with.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, now that's fixed. I'm sorry to ask you again to repeat the comment.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I was asking about what kind of policy the board should adapt to make the training system more family friendly, like as Prof. Shadod mentioned, like the female surgeon can balance their life with their career locally in Sudan.
Right. My experience with the training in the Sudan wasn't a long experience, because I just came one year. So I came 5 years after I finished there, and then after 3 years, the war broke, and there was no training, and there was nothing there. The atmosphere they create for themselves is quite conducive, and I have attended some of the training sessions and some of the theoretical sessions which is presented or given to the residents with the consultants at their leisure time most of the time. And I think the level of knowledge and the level of training and asking the registrars and the consultants training them, I think the standard is quite high. I must say this. They take all the chances to work hard, but when it comes to your word, they think that they are being very much, their rights are very much jeopardized. Not because of anything wrong with the training plan or anything, but it is something to do with the resources. And I was really not surprised, but I was really pleased to say that in spite of all the limitations in practice and the limitations in resources, uh, still you find that people are working and they're gaining the best results outside countries when they go to compete there. And I must say that the hospital I was working in Saudi Arabia for the last number of years, I've told you that all the registrars in the surgical department were Sudanese. فكان بيقول إنه يعني إحنا عاوزين نساعد الوظائف في السعودية، لقيناها سودنت. A lot of things like this, but they're very, very well motivated, simply because they wanted a better life. They want to live better life locally, or yeah. Thank you.
If I can add to this regarding this issue of Bangala, actually. Thank you, Prof. Osman. And I would also share with you the last statistics regarding the SMSP. SMSP actually has been established in 1995 with 6 specialties and around 150 residents. Currently, there are more than 63 specialties and more than 10,000 residents enrolled in those specialties. Actually, out of the 63, there are 14 fellowships. So more than 10,000 residents. The number of graduates from SMSP till the end of 2024 were 16,700 actually. And out of the 10,000 residents, there are more than 7,500 are females actually in different specialties. And as I mentioned in my previous talk, that during the last 10 batches, there is a definite increasing trend for enrollment of females from 10% in batch 41 to 42% in batch 51. Then regarding the issue of the Bangla, it's really not acceptable at all. However, this is the situation. There are those who are enrolled in training. More than 80% of them are on private basis, and only 20% are from Ministry of Health or military or police or universities as fellowships. And that's why those 80%, they don't have salaries, they don't have any sort of payment, they have to go for work. The policies we are looking for now, the strategy in order to address this issue, is that we had a sort of a long discussion with the cabinet of ministers in order to ensure the implementation of what we call the career pathway that was submitted by the residents, the doctors union, and the SMSP 3 years ago, and it was approved by the Ministry of Health and will be sponsored by the Ministry of Finance. I hope this will be true, and we will be instead of having 80% on private basis, we can have 80% on fellowship basis, and so reduce this number of Bangala as it's being called. Thank you.
Yes, that's quite
Thank you so
true.
much.
Sorry,
No, continue.
can I respond? Can I respond to the shadows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Um, one second.
Continue, please. Professor.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for giving me the chance to respond. I asked the residents when I came that why people are getting lax on pursuing proper training, and the answer was quite convincing to me that we have to make a choice. This is the residents' response. You have to make the choice between having a decent family life and getting abroad. And not to disclose a secret that they are very popular in Saudi Arabia, at least. And Sudanese residents and Sudanese registrars are very much known for their punctuality, for their enthusiasm in conducting the training and training other junior doctors. And this is quite a great advantage for them, and it's a great asset for the country. Yeah. The training opportunities are quite available here, and I think after staying there for a long time, the best place to get trained is probably in country, in the Sudan. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. Asman and Prof. Shadul. Let us move to our next speaker, and then we can listen from our guest. We have Professor Ibrahim Bani, and like a lot of guests here. So just we are running out of time, so we will move to Ms. Sarah and Isra, and then we come back to continue. Over you, Isra.
Thank you, Love. I would like to ask for Ms. Sarah. Good evening, Ms. Sarah.
Good evening. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
All good. It's a pleasure to
see
have
and
you.
hear me?
Yes, we can see and hear you. So everyone join me to welcome our next inspiring speaker, Dr. Sarah Mawi Surfi, and she's a renowned plastic and reconstructive surgeon who's breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings. And I would hold the mic no more. Please tell us about your journey, Dr. Sarah, and take us away.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Kareem and happy International Women Day. I think all of audience are Sudanese, and I love to talk in Arabic. I will enjoy it. طيب أونسكم شوية برحلتي في الجراحة.
All of them, Sarah. Not all of them.
Not all? Okay. I will speak in Arabic. طيب الجراحة كانت في الحقيقة حلم الطفولة تقريبا. وأنا من زمان I enjoy أي حاجة بتتعمل باليدين. I enjoy hand skills whatsoever كانت شنو يعني. فصراحة كنت interested إنه أكون neurosurgeon when I was young يعني when I was child. بعدين في الكلية لحد ما I graduated كنت distinguished في السيرجري and pediatrics. فاللي أحسي بتذكر في يوم النتيجة I decided إنه I will be a pediatric surgeon. وعندي صورة مع مستر صلاح عبد الرازق ودكتور محمد pediatrician إنه أنا will be a pediatric surgeon يعني. فبعدين I started my career بعد graduation ولحد ما وصلت بعد الهاوس مان وكده، و I decided إنه خلاص أنا همتحن جراحة. و زي كل الأبهات السودانيين والأمهات برضو، أنا أمي كان نفسها إنه أنا أكون فيزيشن، وأبوي كان نفسه أكون بيدياتريشن. أنا يتان إنه أنا بلاستيك سيرجن يعني. ف فكان الانترست في البشن بتاعي من الأول، و دي كانت الرحلة بتاعت السيرجري يعني.
And what kind of challenges you faced as you're charting your path and finally arriving at becoming a plastic and reconstructive surgeon?
اوكي طيب. طيب التشالنجز العاديه اللي افتكر كل الريجسترارز او كل الدكاتره السودانيين بيواجهوها يعني في during التريننج، من ناحيه الموازنه بين الشغل، بين انه انت you have to improve yourself ولازم انت تكون بتمتحن. يعني افتكر اذا ما كلنا اغلبنا بنكون بنعمل في التريننج وفي نفس الوقت لازم نمتحن، يعني بنمتحن الفيرست بارت ولازم نكون بنعمل الممبرشيب او بنمتحن في اي امتحانات بتاعت بورد تاني، وفي نفس الوقت الشغل في بيئة نقدر نقول عليها صعب او تشالنجينج يعني عموما. ف دي تحديات افتكر كلنا واجهناها يعني. بعدين الشغل definitely مرهق، يعني انت بتكون شغال ديوتي ونبطشية، وبعدين تصبح عليك انه عندك ثياتر patients are waiting for you كده. و I overcome كل الحاجات دي بانه بالاصرار والإرادة، و definitely بالسبورت. يعني إنه أنا I have a very good support system، ابتداء من أسرتي لحد أصحابي لحد زملائي يعني. يعني والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Alhamdulillah. That's really nice, and I see that the word support has been mentioned a lot, and I think this is a key emphasis on the importance of having good support and a good support system. And this is really something that I think all of the audience will take as a key takeaway. Another question, yeah. So like as you were like making steps in your journey, what kind of like lessons or defining moments you had as you are becoming who you are today? And what kind of advice in that light would you give to aspiring, maybe perhaps among the audiences, aspiring plastic and reconstructive surgeon or surgeons in general?
طيب اوكي. خليني احكي لك شويه طيب، او احكي للناس عموما عن من وين جات انه انا اخترت انه امشي بلاستيك ريكونستراكتيف سيرجري. زي ما قلت لك في الاول انه انا ديسايدد انه انا حامشي بيدياتريك سيرجري، بعدين اشتغلت الشفت بتاع البلاستيك سيرجري. وزي ما قلت لك انا عموما مهووسه بالهاند سكيلز. بعدين انا برضو مهووسه بانه دائما عندي انه I have to repair things. يعني اي حاجه مكسوره لازم اصلحها، واي حاجه ما مظبوطه لازم اضبطها whatsoever كانت الحاجه دي شنو في البيت ولا في اي حته يعني. فبعدين لما اشتغلت الشفت بتاع البلاستيك سيرجري يعني لقيت نفسي تماما في الحاجه دي. فكانت يعني that what I search for، إنه ده الحاجة اللي أنا بفتش عنها بالضبط. يعني طبعا مع الاحترام لكل السبيشاليتيز الثانية يعني. ف وبعدين في سيرجن، وبالرغم عن التحديات في إنه بلاستيك، أنت ماشية بلاستيك سيرجري يا سارة؟ يس أنا ماشية بلاستيك سيرجري. طبعا يعني لحد قريبة وتفتكر دي هسي لحد ما هي من شوية لحد ما تبقى well known and well established يعني. لحد الناس بيشوفوا لحد هسي الناس بيشوفوا إنه لسه بالله انتوا قاعدين انتوا ناس البلاستيك
I think we got disconnected, perhaps. Oh, Dr. Sarah, you're still with us?
Yes, sorry for the interruption.
No worries. Please go ahead.
اوكي. ف الصراحة زي ما قلت لك انه ده موضوع اختيار البلاستيك سيرجري يعني. فإذا عندي advice أو نصيحة لكل الناس اللي بيسمعونا هسه، أول حاجة in general كده be hard worker, be good learner and be good fighter. خلاص. بعدين do what you want. ما تسمعوا كلام الناس. كل زول بيحكي الحاجة بتجربته الشخصية. لا سيرجري ما بتاعت البنات، لا خلاص انت امشي سيرجري لكن امشي للحاجة الفلانية لأنها بتنفع أكتر. do you what you want. الحاجة اللي انت بتنفع معاك وبتحبها اعملها. وممكن حاجة تكون ما نفعت مع زول لكن حتنفع معاك انت. وأنا كلاسيكية صراحة، ودائما قاعد أنصح حتى الطلبة بتاعيني إنه ما لم تجرب الحاجة ما تحكم عليها. فالزول يشتغل الحاجة بعدين يقرر إنه هو دي الحاجة اللي بتنفع معه ولا لا. وهنا خليني أضيف حاجة مهمة شديد، ويعني تكاد تكون في الكارير بتاعي بتساوي الجراحة، اللي هي التدريس. صراحة التيتشنج، يعني أنا إذا سألتي سارة بتلقى نفسها في شنو؟ بتلقى نفسها في التدريس وفي الجراحة، الاثنين سوا يعني بيكملوا بعض تماما. ف أفتكر دي النصيحة المهمة يعني.
So you do feel like people should also learn to teach as well. This is one of like the things that people could look into, like especially aspiring surgeons.
إسراء،
أيوة.
ما كنت سامعاكي كويس، معلش.
No problem. I was just
أيوة.
stressing on that point that you mentioned, and like how surgery and teaching went hand in hand in your journey. And I was saying, would like
Okay.
how would you like? I was just saying that. Do you think that people should learn to learn something in order to teach it?
طيب بتذكر احنا في سنة 5 قال لنا مستر سمير شاهين الله يديه العافية، الدكتور بطبيعة الحال هو أستاذ. فأنت أساسا على طول الوقت أنت you are learning from someone and you are learn someone something. ده على طول الوقت يعني. ف ما في طريقة أحسن من إنك أنت تماستر anything من إنك أنت تعلمه الزول. فأفتكر هي ذاتها دي سكيل مهمة شديد، إنه in general وفي السيرجري بالخصوص يعني، إنه أنت كيف تعلم الجونيورز السيرجيكال سكيلز عموما، وحتى النولج يعني. فعشان أنت ذاتك عشان تماستر الحاجة تعلمها لزول تاني. فموضوع التدريس ده يعني we have to stress on it لحد بكرة. نقطة مهمة جدا 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 يعني.
Thank you for sharing that. And another question is like, what is your vision for the future of women in surgery to leave your mark and contribute to advancing female surgeons in Sudan? Especially, not only you're a surgeon, but also a teacher. And I feel like this plays a huge role in empowering other aspiring surgeons.
بالضبط صح. طيب صراحة المستقبل يعني احنا طبعا عارفين كلنا الحاصل في السودان وكده، لكن السيل انا قادرة اشوف انه مستقبل الجراحات السودانيات
Okay, I think we're having
Okay.
some outsiders or disturbance.
ما في مشكلة.
Okay.
فكنت بقول
continue.
لك انه مستقبل الجراحات السودانيات انا شايفاه مستقبل و افتكر انه اذا في حاجه ممكن نظيفه اكثر من انا للاسف ما سمعت كل كلام الناس قدامي، لكن اذا في حاجه ممكن نسهل بها الطريق للناس اللي بعدنا، انهم كفايه انهم يشوفوا انه ده كان ممكن وانه ده كان متاح، انه هو في ناس قدامنا عملت الحاجه. فطالما في زول قدامك عمل الحاجه معناه هي definitely ما صعبة وما مستحيلة يعني. و دائما we are back.
Welcome back again.
Welcome back for the third time, I think. I see.
We are happy to welcome you. We are happy to welcome you more than that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. كنا بنقول في إنه أفتكر كنت بتسأليني عن my mark.
Leaving your mark, yes.
أيوة. الصراحة بقدر ما إنها هي حاجة كويسة إنه تكون سيرجن أند تيشر في نفس الوقت، بقدر ما هي فيها مسؤولية كبيرة definitely يعني. لأنه أنت من غير ما تقصد أو من غير ما تحس بتكون أنت رول موديل للطلبة شايفينك، حتى من غير ما يسألوك دايركتلي يعني. وإيفن في الحاجات البسيطة يعني، ما بس في الحاجات الأكاديمية يعني. ف الحاجة دي صراحة بتخد على زول مسؤولية كبيرة أكيد يعني، لكن في نفس الوقت حاجة أفتكر يعني حلوة، إنك أنت بتشوف إنك أنت ممكن تساعد الناس وتقدم لهم النصائح وتشوفوا منهم هم بروجريسنج يعني، وحتى لو يبقوا أحسن منك كمان، ودي حاجة ما في أحسن من كده يعني، إنه الناس تساعد بعض في النهاية تصل للحاجة الكويسة يعني. وأنا يعني حأعيد وأكرر كل مرة إنه أنا I do love teaching and surgery يعني للأبد.
We're lucky to have you as someone who is both a renowned surgeon and also in a very specialized field, as well as someone who loves teaching, because that means that so many people's life will be affected by your teaching, especially like aspiring surgeons. And I think this is really key. We emphasize the importance of mentors almost throughout the whole session, and I feel like we have one in front of us right now. Like you're truly inspiring, and I hope to see more of what you would bring to the future of females in surgery, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. I'll be more than happy to help anyone at any time.
There you have it, everyone. This is your chance. Thank you very much, Dr. Sarah. It was really a really inspiring speech, and I'm sure a lot of people have benefited from your insights, and also will be eager to take benefit of you as a teacher, inshallah.
إن شاء الله. شكرا سعيدة جدا بالفرصة اللي أتيحتوها لي وشكرا جزيلا وموفقين إن شاء الله. شكرا.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. شكرا.
I think we have one more speaker, but I'm not sure if Dr. Safa is with us. So
Yeah, I think Ms. Safa is not here with us today.
okay, she was preoccupied with last minute responsibilities, so unfortunately we couldn't have her. But Dr. Safa Al-Fateh is also a teacher, both a teacher and a neurosurgeon. It would have been wonderful to have her, but she's with us, at least in wishes. And I think for next we would have our next sessions. So over to you.
Okay, so Prof. Shadul briefly described the subjective strategies. So I will just in points summarize these strategies. So in terms of training related issues, we can provide scholarship to conferences, designing programs for mentorship and sponsorships for the surgical trainees. In addition to evaluation of the factors leading to attrition. It's also important to provide faculty and resident training on burnout and early intervention for trainees who are considered behind. Also, as pregnancy and childbearing usually coincide with the early years of postgraduate training. The training organizations can support the trainees by increasing the number, the flexibility, and funding of the training posts. And an example of such initiative is the implementation of less than full-time training. Okay. So in terms of addressing the issue of bias and discrimination, it's important to address the organizational issues which contribute to bias, empowerment of bystanders to speak up, social media and public campaigns highlighting women surgeons and acknowledging their achievements, Also encouraging women surgeons to consider leadership opportunities and giving them the chance to do so. So as all our amazing surgeons and speakers highlighted the importance of mentorship, and that for any aspiring female surgeon, it's important to have a role model. Here we have a paragraph from the review of the JAMA surgery under the article, The Current Status of Women in Surgery, where they mention that women surgeons consistently report a lack of mentoring as an obstacle to professional advancement. And much more commonly than men, 40% of women versus 13% of male faculty. A survey of academic physicians found that 1/2 of women had a mentor, 1/3 previously had a mentor, and 13% never had a mentor. Full professors were less likely to have a mentor compared with lower ranked faculty. And usually women prefer gender concordant mentoring relationships, which is actually very difficult in surgical specialties with the striking gender disparity. Although mentors are not compensated or recognized for this, mentorship remains a fundamental part in faculty development.
I think we can hand
So,
over
yeah,
the mic to
Ira.
our director.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rimaz and Isra and Hiq and all our amazing surgeons. So before we conclude, I would like to give the stage to our special guest, Professor Bani, Ibrahim Bani. Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to add your insights and idea regarding this topic?
Yes, it is a very interesting topic, especially for today is the International Women's Day. And I am also really interested in the topic because it's also related to public health. I am a public health physician, I am not a surgeon. So now in this era of a lot of conflicts going on, especially in Sudan, one of the main problems in public health is trauma. So recently, yesterday, I had a talk to the medical students about the implications of war, public health implication, including trauma and disease. So really, it's very interesting. And I think now more females are going into surgery, not in our times. I think in my classmates, I don't remember we have a female surgeon, but some of them are in OB-GYN, which is considered surgery also. So I really also would like to welcome my colleagues, Professor Usman Hamour, whom I haven't met for years, and also Dr. Ahmed Shadul, whom we recently met in Kigali, in also a workshop in public health also about Sudan. Thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. I would really appreciate your participation, and it's our honor to have you here today. I'm afraid that we will conclude our panel discussion today. Thank you so much for your attending, everyone, and we hope you enjoy the panel and enjoy the discussion with our speakers. And we really appreciate your time and interesting in this topic. So I kindly ask you to fill the
معلش يا خلاف كده قبل ما تمشي في سجشن من دكتورة شيماء
okay.
سجشن مهم.
So Dr. Shema, if you can open your mic and share it with us, if you can.
Hello, hi. So my name is Dr. Shima Ahmed. I'm one of the surgical doctors at South Sudan. So I'd love to, because all of the speakers highlighted about how difficult surgical field it is, especially for female, and all of them as well highlighted the importance of support as well. So this is a great opportunity, and it's amazing to have like more than at least 6 successful female surgeon in this platform at the moment. So I'd highly suggest if we could just have some sort of connection, because just an event would happen once every how many years, no one knows, and would always find it difficult to find a support or to find guidance or someone just to let you know that I've been through what you've been through, and it will shall pass. Or if you want to go, or if you want to get away from um, certain dilemma or something like that, you could go through 1, 2, 3 steps. So that's my suggestion. It's just like it could be like a WhatsApp group or just a LinkedIn group or whatever platform. I'm not sure. I'm just suggesting for the panel.
Yeah, thank you so much. Surprisingly, I was about to say this, like we make your suggestion your dream true. I was about to say that everyone can apply to join for our community building group, where we all can connect and share our stories and experience. You can join. Every females can join this group. Every aspiring surgeons, and you can meet our speakers as well over there. So how could you join? By filling the feedback form. Lena already dropped the feedback form link. We will also share it with you in the email. So let us know what do you think and what is your thoughts about how this panel went, and like tell us how could we improve for future panels. And also all females, you will get the application to join our community building group. You fill with what do you expect and what do you need, and if you have like a specific speaker you want to connect with, we can share everything with you, and we can share with you through the email how we could join our group. So we're really planning for it, and we hope it could be a comfortable space for us to connect and organize more project like mentorship program. And if there's a specific issue in empowering women in surgery, we can like organize more panel discussion. So a lot of ideas can come out of that group. So just fill the form and we will wait for your response. And you got this. Thank you, Dr. Shima, for your suggestion.
Ragda also shared something. She said that it's a very inspiring and informative discussion, especially on the 8th of March. Looking forward to more amazing opportunities. So let me pitch this, since we want you all to stay updated with the Sudanese Consortium for Surgical Development, because this is at the core of our message, that we want to give you opportunities to excel in the surgical field. And this is why we want you all to stay updated and be part of the community that we're building, inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you, sir. Professor Man, are you raising your hand?
معلش يا إلاف برضو قبل ما نمشي في بروفيسور الرشيد وصل
Oh,
افتكر كان عنده مشكلة بتاعت كونكشن، لكن يا بروف لو سامعني ممكن
Yeah, hi, Mr. Hi, Prof. Rashid.
Yes, thank you very much, Hagir. Yes, I just came in. Yani, it was I had a very busy schedule. I really forgot about this. And the other thing is that I was asking for data about the number of females in all grades from R1 to R5, but I didn't have this data. So I thought that might probably be of help so that we just can have a map of definitely. I mean, the females are dominant in all except probably the surgical field. So I don't think we have. I sorry, I didn't attend. I don't know whether we have this information so far, or at least female surgeons who are actually يعني working in Sudan or outside Sudan. I remember, I mean, when I was a registrar, I think at that time the alias was Nahid Farid Tubia, is a pediatric surgeon. And I think Ishraq is a breast surgeon in UK. But really don't have very much يعني, data about the number of female surgeons now globally or probably locally here in Khartoum. So I don't know whether I missed some information in the previous presentations. Well, thank you actually for this invitation, and thank you actually for forming this format. I think it will be very helpful, at least for those young, probably female who are in the grades of R1, 2, 3. I think this will be great help for them to know their future, I mean, about surgery and locally or probably globally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prof. Rashid. So,
Professor Hamur برضو have his hands up if we can
yeah,
hear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, it is a message which I try my best to circulate whenever I find the chance. طيب حقيقة طبعا الناس leading change in the country، الناس leading هم الأطباء، والشيء اللي حصل وسط الأطباء في السنوات اللي فاتت كانت كان حاجة محزنة لكن مشرفة. يعني كثير فقدنا كثير من زملائنا ونترحم عليهم طبعا. فالمسج اللي أنا بحب أقوله للناس إنه في أي ميتنج من هذا النوع بتلقى ناس enthusiast. في ناس بيقول لك يمكن off point، بيقول لك اتكلم في الموضوع، لكن افتكر إنه ده من صلب الموضوع. يعني as if we are hiding and saying what we want to say. نحن كلنا متفقين على حاجة in common، إنه we want a country which is عظيم، و country which is democratic, country which has got all the qualities of a civilized nation because we are a civilized nation. فأنا بس بذكر الناس بالحاجة دي، إنه في حصلت ثورة ديسمبر وعملت تغيير أساسي في البلد، وهذا التغيير أنتوا جزء من السبير هيد حقته. فأنا I'm very much interested to convey this message, and I hope everybody find the chance or a gathering like this. He said, don't listen to what they tell you that this is off point, this is siyasa, this is no. Siyasa is the country. أي country هو سياسة. I'm very sorry to say this here, but I think it is very relevant, and I hope people will include this message in their recommendation. Not to call for a مظاهرة or حاجة, no. Just to say the words. And we are the leaders of the change. We doctors, we are leaders of the change, and we will make it by our persistence to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's truly an inspiring piece. And I'm sure a lot of us will keep this message to heart. Dr. Muhammad, raising your hand
طيب
as well.
بس final message كده، نقطة صغيرة، حاجة مهمة خالص. داير أول شيء to thank you all for your attendance و thank you all for organizing this great event. وإن شاء الله نواصل و we'll keep going. وبرضو داير في اللحظة دي في وجودكم كلكم داير أذكركم بأنه ال SCSD أو الكونسورتيوم كلها بقت موجودة ومواصلة بفضل الله وبفضل سينيرنا ربنا يرحمه ويغفر له محمد عباس. هو كان registrar of surgery. هو كان enthusiastic about spreading surgical education لكل الريجسترارز لكل الستودنتس، واحنا كنا من الستودنتس اللي تعلمنا منه كتير. ونحن we are taking this الفيجن بتاعه والانثوزيازم بتاعه forward، ونحن we are pushing forward. هي زول داير يطور السيرجري في السودان ويساهم في الوصول للفيجن بتاع محمد عباس ربنا يرحمه ويغفر له، ودايركم كلكم تدعوا له في الشهر المبارك ده. الاس سي اس دي هي الحتة اللي بتحضن الايدياز بتاعتك. بس ده أذكركم بأنه محمد عباس هو له الفضل من بعد ربنا في وجود الكونسورتيوم وفي وجود الجدرين الحالي حسي ده، وإن شاء الله الناس تدعي له وربنا كده يقدرنا على تحقيق الفيجن بتاعتنا.
شكرا محمد يا أخي، فعلا والله ذكرتنا يعني رجل القامة. يعني أفتكر محمد رحمة الله عليه كان زول يعني أكبر من عمره تقريبا. أنا عاصرته طبعا وكان بدأ معانا فعلا البرزنتيشن كان جلوبال والله يعني، لكن كان فيري امبيشس انه الحكايه دي تكونتينيو، وكل مره كان يعني كانت فيري يعني ريوردينج والله. and he left علي بسرعه خلاص والله يا اخي، رحمه الله الرحمه والمغفره. انا افتكر كويس جدا انكم يو ستارت this يعني thing to continue. يعني افتكر كان هو طبعا تقريبا يعني every week he invites somebody عشان يعمل presentation افتكر. وبعد ذاك بدت يعني تاخد السمعه بتاعت يعني بتلقى بريزنترز من انديا، بريزنترز من يعني من different parts of the world، وكثير منهم كان يعني very enthusiastic وفورينرز يعني رحمة الله عليه، ربنا يغفر له ويرحمه.
ربنا يرحمه ويغفر له إن شاء الله يا رب. شكرا محمد، شكرا بروف رشيد، شكرا لكل السبيكرز اللي انضموا لنا اليوم. شكرا للتيم اللي شغال خلف الكواليس، ملاذ وكل ال Communication Advocacy Department Officers لينا وضحى وكل الناس اللي خلوا الحاجة دي يعني تتحقق. Then we conclude this panel discussion. I have no words more to say, so thank you so much. Make sure to fill the forms by scanning this QR code, and we will send all of the details regarding the group in the emails. Thank you all for attending. Thank you so much. You're allowed to leave now.